Hello, rodeo fans, and welcome to the 11th episode of the Short Round, the official podcast of the Canadian Professional Rodeo Association. I'm your host, Wacey Anderson, and I'm pleased to be joined by, I think I'm just going to start calling you my full-time co-host, Clay Creasy, our CPRA stock expert. It's been really fun having you on these last few shows, man. So I think it's just we're bound just to make it a regular thing. It's nice to have somebody to shoot the shit with a little bit here, especially during these downtimes. I maybe called a little bit too early that we're through the dog days of the winter for rodeo, but this weekend it's happening. We got two big rodeos on the schedule, and it kind of just opens the floodgates of a lot of stuff happening through the rest of April here and into May. So yeah, man, this will be good. I'm looking forward to the year ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that last episode that we had, we were kind of trying to fill a little space and time, but I think
Mhm.
now we're not quite at the point where we've got a lot, but there's the anticipation. So
Oh,
it's
I know,
good to
man.
get that going and a little bit more happening again. We were really in that lull in the States where there isn't much going on there. There's kind
Mhm.
of that transition between the winter rodeos and maybe a couple that are still kind of on the coattails of the winter rodeos and again that little bit of a break between maybe that first rodeo of the year up here and now what'll
Yeah.
start two or three or crazy to think four in a weekend kind
Right.
of
Yeah.
thing
It's gonna be here before we know
happening.
it. Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good, man. And it's kind of funny you say it's like it seems like it's just been crickets the last like 2 weeks all across the board with rodeo. So looking forward to having some more stuff happening. But like I said, there is some stuff happening this weekend. We got the Dawson Creek Exhibition Spring Rodeo and the Medicine Hat Spring Rodeo coming up too. So and looking through the draw here, so there's actually some of the heavy hitters are making their way back home north of the border. So I think we're gonna have some really good rodeo action in Canada this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. I know that one perf in the bronc riding up here. There's a lot of real big names and
Mhm.
everything, and yeah, you're seeing some new names and some big names coming back going again. And I look the first bulldogger that's going to be out in Dawson Creek there. Brock Everett is a name that maybe not a lot of people know. I got to meet him a bit through the College Rodeo Association here last fall, and there's some rodeo ties with that family for sure. His mom and aunt Allison and Kirsty White there. They're a strong rodeo family, and I'm hoping for big things for him this weekend, and it'll be good. So yeah, no, and the stock there, it's Calgary brings a bit of a mixed bag. There's quite a few of the younger ones, but there's
Mhm.
still some of the good old horses in there. I mean, they were still quite young when I was rodeoing, but now they're the campaigners and everything like that. But it'll be a good one, and yeah, the draw at Medicine Hat looks pretty good too.
Mhm.
So.
That's exciting, man. It's cool to see some of our novice competitors taking that next step. Like you look at Jarrett Cooper, the reigning Canadian novice saddlebronc champion. He's from Armstrong, BC, and he's making the jump into the open saddlebronc riding this year. So it's going to be exciting to see what he can do kind of early on. And you got guys like Grady Young and William Barrows who are looking to make some moves, and some guys we've seen some promise out of. Like Grady won his first rodeo over there in Rimby, and Williams, a guy I think he's got a lot of talent, and he kind of got derailed a little bit last year, getting hurt. But yeah, it's exciting to see these young guys kind of taking the next step and looking to make some moves and kind of get some headway once the big dogs start coming out here at the end of May when the SMS Pro Tier fires up.
Yeah, for sure. And the name that popped up that I don't know a lot of other than the last name is Ryan Spur Reed there in the saddle bronc riding at Dawson
Mhm.
Creek. I'm assuming there's a connection to David Reed, a longtime tough competitor that the 80s and 90s had in the bronc riding there. That I'm sure that name Spur isn't just going to be a name. I think that'll be
It'll be
what
fun
he's
to
doing.
watch.
So. Got a tough one in that ancient delivery, but that'll be a good matchup. So
For sure. It'll be good, man. And it's cool to see a ton of entries across the board in every event, in the timed events and the rough stock. So it's gonna be a fun weekend of rodeo, I think, north of the border. And it's kind of like you said, it's that anticipation. It's finally starting to get to be, don't have to wait too much longer before we're full steam ahead.
yeah, for sure. I mean, you want to get started, and And again, this time of year, like you say, for a younger guy like Jarrett, I've been through that jump to making the jump from the novice to the pros. I was unfortunately coming off a bad ankle break, and looking back now, maybe should have taken that extra year
Yeah.
in making that jump. But you get to see what it's like to make that. We saw last summer there, we had Tyrell Roberts kind of
Oh yeah.
seamlessly make that jump. He had a bit of a tough CFR because once you get all those horses for six perfs, it
It's a
can be
lot.
tough and
Yeah.
start snowballing. But geez, he rides so well, and again, guys like Quentin Taylor and all of those young guys. It seems like some of these young guys just make that jump that much more smoothly these days. So
Yeah.
it's cool to see.
It'll be fun, man. I'm excited to kind of rehash some of the results and some of the action that happens over this next weekend. And yeah, it'll be good, man. I think now's as good a time as any to throw out our interview this week. We got Tanner Byrne on the show. He's a synonymous name in rodeo. If you don't know Tanner, you're about to find out a lot more about him here in our interview. So we'll throw it to that, Clay, and we'll catch up on episode 12.
Sounds good.
Alrighty, this has been episode 11 of the podcast. We will be right back right after this. Welcome back to the show, everyone. This week's guest is a familiar face on the rodeo trail. He is one of the top bullfighters in the game, and not only has been selected to fight the bulls at the CFR 2 times, he has also qualified for the CFR in the bull riding and won 2 aggregate titles along the way. Welcome to the short round, Tanner Byrne. What's going on, my man?
What's up, dude? Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked to kind of take a walk down memory lane of your riding the bull career and getting into what you're up to these days. So I think it'd be fun to kind of get into the thick of it.
For sure. We go back a long ways, me and you,
Yeah,
back to
yeah.
the original Northern Saskatchewan
I
CCA
know.
days all the way up. So no, it's good. It's looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, it'll be great. So that's one thing I wanted to ask. Winter sticks around a little bit longer in PA. What have you been up to throughout the winter here, getting ready for the 2024 season?
Yeah, we've been fortunate around here. Usually the winters are pretty terrible in northern Saskatchewan, and we've been pretty mild. Had one hit of a minus 40-ish for about a week, and other than that, we can't complain one bit. Weather's been beautiful. So yeah, it's been a steady roll. Along with the bullfighting side of things, I have quite a few different irons in the fire and endeavors that I'm a part of right now, calving a bunch of cows around here on the ranching side of things, as well as working on some contracts for some of our clients within the PBR team series. You jumped on board with Jason Davidson in 3D bull riding with the Western Sports Agency side of things. So
Mhm.
we that's grown a lot over the last 2-3 years, and we really dove into this new PBR team series stuff, and yeah, doing the best we can for these guys and working on contracts and taking care of as many of these Western lifestyle participants as we can inside and outside the arena.
It's pretty cool the roster you guys have built up with that, and even that's kind of like changed bull riding in a sense, like the PBR teams. Like it's more of a kind of takes it year round, where it's like there's more stuff going on outside the arena for these guys, and that's where kind of you and JD come in to kind of help them bridge that gap and find those places where they fit in. It's kind of got to be a cool thing for you to kind of be involved in a different aspect.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot. It's a way to stay in the game, and also it's a way to take care of the guys within the sport that
Mhm.
a lot of times the athletes themselves are fairly neglected, whether it be rodeo, bull riding, whatever it might be, and it's a cool way to help these guys out and get them what they deserve, right? So within the PBR itself, yeah, there's two different seasons now. There's the UTB season, the regular season that runs for 6 months, and then we roll right into the team series that runs for 6 months. So in reality, it's two totally separate seasons. So in the regular season, we help our clients with sponsorship and everything that you would normally do, as it's been for the last however many years. And then the team series, yeah, it's totally a new game. And we came into it, and Jason has a background in hockey as a player agent and working contracts, and it's a total different game than sponsorship, that's for sure. So
Yeah.
we jumped in there and took on some of the top guys, and it's been great helping get them the contracts that they deserve, working with the teams, working with the players, and just doing everything that we can to make sure that things are done right.
It's such a cool thing that for these top guys to have access to this. 'Cause I think a lot of rodeo guys would rather just not deal with any of this and just worry about the rodeo side of things. I know, and you know that too. So it's kind of cool that they have access to guys like you to kind of take care of the business side, and they can make their appearances and do their social posts and all that kind of stuff, what they need to do. But really and truly, they can put their main focus into what's going on inside the arena. It's pretty neat.
For sure, that's the main thing about it, right? Is you go and focus on riding bulls and doing your job, and let us do all the other stuff, right? So I was that guy as well. I had an agent that handled my stuff for me. Near the end of my career, I started handling all my own sponsorship and stuff like that. But it's such a huge help because mentally, bull riding is such a hard aspect, and you have to be all in, thinking about your next ride, the next event. You got to be 100% committed to what you're doing, and all those outside influences can sometimes play a hindrance on your riding, and then that's when your sponsorship dollars go down the drain too, because in reality is as good as you are is what you're going to get, right? Yeah, you're not going to get any sponsorships for being average. So the better you can do, the better you can ride, the more you can win. That's when no more of those sponsorship dollars come into play. But yeah, no, it's just a way for us to get involved with the guys, take care of that aspect of it. They can focus on their job. We'll handle all that outside stuff, and try to grow the sport in that sense.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to ask you, Tanner, is I've always admired how you used your platform to kind of grow your personal brand. I know, like, ever since we were young, you've always been a charismatic guy and outgoing, and I see it translate through your professional career. And like you said, you started representing yourself towards the end of your bull riding career. Like, how much has that experience and that willingness to put yourself out there helped not only, I guess, at the bullfighting side of the realm, and then also the people you're representing on the agency side?
Yeah, I think it's just getting yourself out there and not being afraid to be vulnerable in reality in that sense, especially the bullfighting side of things. And that's a bit tougher because I'll tell you, when you're riding bulls, the only person that can beat you is yourself, right?
Yeah.
And you're competing against yourself, and as good as you can ride is as high as you're going to go in the sport. Bullfighting, you're hired on, so it's a bit of a different aspect. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you that you find out who your friends are really quick, and that being other guys in the sport that maybe don't like to see other guys having success. So
It's cutthroat out there for you
oh,
guys,
it's cutthroat, man. It's quite the game. And yeah, if there's one rule that they should bring in, because I know that rodeo likes to have a lot of rules, it should be a minimum pay amount when it comes to the contract acts or the bullfighting side of things. That would
Yeah,
clear
no
up
doubt.
a lot of undercutting and all that other stuff. So but yeah, that's a whole new
That's so
episode.
we to do a whole other podcast episode. We can talk about that stuff.
Yeah, but no, like myself, I think yeah, I always just knew what I had to do to build the brand in a sense, but in reality, the better that you ride is how you
For
build your
sure.
brand, right? And I just tried to put everything I could into the gym and into the mental side of things, and be the best that I could possibly be inside and outside the arena. And I wasn't afraid to do interviews and do all that other sort of stuff, and fortunate enough to be able to work with big companies like Monster and Wrangler, Levi's, Jared Allen's Pro Bowl team, like stuff like that just really helped me to be able to have the confidence, I guess, in one side of it, as well as the experience to be in those situations and deal with that sort of stuff. So I think it was just trial by fire, learn as you go, and
Yeah.
hope that you're doing the right thing. And I think I learned a lot about the sport. I learned a lot about what, say, sponsors might want, or GMs with these teams and stuff like that. And then that's where I can come into play, because I understand all that sort of stuff, and can help these guys to know the right way of going about things, and getting themselves out there as well.
Well, and even just the relationship side of things, a lot of those guys, you've been around them in your career and like pretty much your whole life, just with your involvement with bull riding and rodeo. And that's got to be such a huge advantage for some of these guys who maybe don't have the connections, or know kind of the right way. Like it's such an advantage for you having done it. Like I think that's something that goes overlooked a lot of the time, is like you've done it, you've know what it like to grind in the gym, and what it takes to win. So I think having those people having you in their corner, it's such a huge advantage, I think, for a lot of them.
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of the guys, will come to us as well, right? They know that I understand the game and
Hmm.
have been from the bottom all the way to the highest level of the sport, like you said, and knew that it didn't come easy and it didn't come overnight and it wasn't a gift. It was everything that you get in the game. That's another good side of bull riding. Everything that you get in the game is from what you do in the arena, right?
Yeah,
Nobody can
yeah.
give you anything, or nobody can say that you got anything
No,
because of this or who you are or what it is, right? You got to earn
100%.
every aspect. Just because of your name or who you are doesn't mean you get to ride at Madison Square Garden and make the World Finals and all that sort of stuff, right? You got to earn every aspect of it, which is a really cool side of our sport. But yeah, that's the thing that is that the guys respect to is yeah, they can talk to me about it and I can understand the situations that they're in, and we can make a plan and work it out together to understand the best way to go about it. So yeah, it's humbling lots of days. It's you learn something new every day. Just when you think you got it figured out, something else gets thrown at you, and it's just dealing with it. Just like life, you got to figure out every aspect that comes at you, keep growing and keep moving forward. And we have a really cool list of clients, some of the top in Canada as well as the world, and very, very proud of that and proud of our guys.
Oh man, I want to jump back, kind of back into the past here a little bit and talk a bit about your bull riding career. I know a lot of people know you as a bullfighter these days, but you were one of the best bull riders that Canada's ever pumped out. Kind of back in the early mid 2000s, I guess you want to call it now. It's been it's been a long time, but
Back in the day.
yeah, back in the day, we could say no. I guess we're getting that old. But yeah, for those who don't know, your dad Ryan was the first professional bullfighter and the first Canadian, or was a professional bullfighter and the first Canadian to be selected to fight bulls at the Wrangler NFR, which is like super cool. So when you were younger, was it always bull riding that you were drawn to, or what kind of had the middle, or had the kind of draw you to the bull riding side of things versus bullfighting to start your career?
Yeah, I think it was just rodeo in general. I
Mm-hmm.
grew up as that kid on the road that you see at every single rodeo. There's always that one
Yeah.
kid, whoever it is, somebody's son or daughter, that's just always
Dude,
there and
I think
always
of
behind
Willie
the chutes.
Maxa when you say
Yeah, yeah, there you go. Exactly. Yeah.
that.
Yeah. There's been a lot of us, right? And I see
Yeah.
kids nowadays being as the bullfighting side of things, you stay in one spot on the weekend, so you
Yeah.
see a lot more of that. But there's everywhere you go, there's that kid that's running around and loving the aspect, loving life. And that was me and my brothers, right? We just grew up
Mhm.
on the road, different places all over the map. And so it wasn't necessarily bull riding or bullfighting. It was just rodeo in
Mhm.
general that we just loved. And that's all that we ever thought about and did and played when we got back home and on the trampoline, or the rope and dummies. And, it wasn't just bull riding and bullfighting. It was every aspect of rodeo, and being a cowboy was what we dreamed of. And the bullfighting side, yeah, my dad was one of the best to ever do it. So I
Mhm.
always say it's kind of like having a dad that played in the NHL. You never, you're not forced into it by any means. He definitely did not force us into rodeo. If anything, he was trying to get us into something to make more
Yeah,
money.
keep you
But
out of trouble.
yeah, but that's me and my brothers. It's all we ever wanted to do, right? And
Mhm. Mhm.
bull riding side of things, I had success from like my steer riding days, and
Mhm.
and I think that's what kept me going on the bull riding side of things. I just kind of kept evolving, and all the different levels that I went through, it kept going well. So I liked making money, and I liked being a bull rider. And but bullfighting, yeah, like that was, we grew up on the 1980s and 90s Wrangler bullfight
Mhm.
tapes,
Mhm.
and I knew all the, Rob Smets, Miles Harris, Skipper Voss. Those were my heroes growing up, right? It was all those bullfighters, and just because my dad had so many ties to all those guys, and those were his friends and his family, right? So,
Mhm.
the bull riding side of things too, the Justin McBrides and Jim Sharps, the Tough Hedemans, and I love those guys too, and wanted to be exactly like those guys, right? So, yeah, I think both sides of it I always loved and always wanted to be a part of, and like I say, any aspect of rodeo, I have so much respect for all the athletes that do all the different events. And I do like watching and trying to be a part of every aspect of rodeo. But I think the bull riding side of things, I just kept rolling with it because
Mhm.
I was good at it. And then yeah, I did completely fall in love with the lifestyle and the aspect of being a professional bull rider, and wanting to win titles and become a world champion, and then getting on getting on tour. Just kind of, that was the ultimate dream come true to get to.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted to do, right? Me and
Yep.
Bosbon and the guys that I was pro rodeoing with, right? It's like, in best plug, like that was the highest level of the sport, right? You wanted to be there with the best in the world, and you didn't want to be the best in Canada. You wanted to be the best
The
on the world
best.
stage and try to win a world championship and ride with those guys every weekend. And it's a grind, I'll tell you that. The Bulls buck, and
Yeah, no
it's
doubt.
something else, that's for sure. And the travel, being a Canadian guy, everybody can respect that, the rodeo guys and stuff too, right? It's a lot more travel that we all have to go through if you're going to do it at the world stage, whether it's the PRCA rodeoing or PBR itself. It wears you out too. So I was very fortunate to have a great career, loved every single minute of it, and definitely be a bull rider and a cowboy to the day I die, for sure.
When you kind of touched on it, you had a lot of success early on in your career, and I kind of want to go back to those CCA days real quick. I know, like we said, we've been knowing each other for a long time now, and one of the coolest things I think, and I remember from back when we were younger, is you made the CCA finals in the junior bull riding and the open bull riding before you were 16 years old, which is like it happens a lot, but I think it at that time, like the bulls that were there bringing to the CCA Open were pretty like pretty on par with the pro rodeo at that time, and it was just dominant, like your performance throughout that time. Like let's go back to those days and kind of talk about some of those moments that stand out during that time.
Yeah, tons of fun is what I can remember.
I remember the
You
first
know?
time I met you and Caddy. You guys were just like the wildest guys running down the road, just having a hell of a
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, there was no pressure. There was no anything. It was just you're a kid. And I had a pretty loose leash. I was the youngest of the family, and I got to kind of do whatever I wanted, I think. So that made it a lot more fun. But yeah, man, me and Caddy and Dakota Peterson and Ronnie Delarue hopped in my old 97 Crown Vic and just hit the road as children, really. And
Yeah,
no rules,
legit
no
children.
guidelines, no cell phones. So that was fun. And yeah, like, and for me, when I look back at those days was I don't know, like your mindset or whatever it might be, but
Mhm.
your goals, right? And I every situation that I would get in, I would use that and pretend that I was going for a world title. Like anytime I was in a pressure situation or at the CCA finals or whatever it might be, I always just used it as building blocks for that next level, right? So I was always trying to think ahead and use every situation that I was in to try to build myself up to get better for that next level type of
Mhm.
thing. And so, yeah, it was a ton of fun, had great success. And some of my best friends and still best friends to this day, right, we're from that time and era. And there has been a lot of successful guys that came out of that era, whether it be
Mhm.
bareback riders or, Oren Larson, Ty Tipitat, saddle bronc riders, ropers. Like there was a good group of us that all came up that
Oh
same
yeah.
time, yourself and, a bunch of cool cats that have had great success and gone on to the CFR and NFR and all sorts of that. So that's kind of cool too, right? And I think that we were all pushing each other to be better and push each other to go to that next level and just trying to keep doing the best we could.
So after you transitioned from just like the amateur semi-pros to the pro, like did you find it was hard to apply, like have that same dominance that you did at CCA level, or was it easy to translate some of that stuff that that made you have all the success you did? Like was it like kind of right away it clicked for you at the pro level, or did you find some challenges when you first got there?
Yeah, definitely didn't click right away. I came in, I think, a little bit cocky, a little confident that I was going to take on the world. And
But you got to be that way though. You have to be like,
oh yeah, in a sense.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe not over the top. You still got to do the work. I definitely
That's
wasn't doing
true.
the
That's
work.
true.
I showed up drinking Bud Light, smoking cigarettes, and hair
Yeah.
down to my knees, and thinking that it was the world was just going to come to me, right? And in
Hmm.
reality, honestly, it was getting in with Chad Bestplug, Tyler Thompson, that crew that I got to travel with. It
Yeah.
was those two, as well as Ty Podzabon and myself, and the guys like Tanner Gurlitz, Jason Finkbeiner, they took us under their wings, and Devin Mazie, and like those guys were so great. And that generation of bull riders that was before us, with
Hmm.
Jody and Steve Turner, and just the list goes on of those guys that went to the CFR over and over and over. They just dominated the bull riding scene. Schiffner in Canada, and really it was getting in with Chad and Tyler though, and like maybe the night before you don't smash a whole bunch of beers and eat taquitos and treat your body like a garbage dump, and we'll go to the gym and work out and get fit. And I think that was the biggest thing. I never really had to work for it. Before that, I was naturally talented at what I was doing and could definitely get by on 80 to 84 point bulls, you know. And then when you step that game up to getting on some buckers that you had to do things right, it was a challenge. But I did everything I could to rise to that challenge, listen to those guys, work my butt off. And I think, I'm also 6'4", so I'm not really built to be a bull rider, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
that
a thing
was
in
kind of
itself.
a hindrance to me. So I had to get in really good shape, pound for pound wise. So started doing a lot of yoga, hot yoga, anything that I could do to be flexible and put my body in the right position to stay on the back of really good bucking bulls. I did. And I think the gym, that sense of it just made me mentally better too, because I hated every minute of it, but I'd work my ass off. And same thing mentally, I just tell myself that this is what's going to be successful, right? And when I showed up on the weekends, I knew that I'd put everything that I possibly could in during the week into that performance on the weekend, and kind of gave myself the permission to have success due to the fact that I've done everything I could possibly to be there.
And that's how you get that confidence too, right? Like just knowing that you put the work in and you've done everything you can to make yourself successful. That's just where that just breeds confidence. So, and you can see it like towards the end of your pro rodeo career, you want to call it, like you won back-to-back aggregate titles at the CFR. You rode some of the baddest bulls in the country, and that's just a testament to the work that you put in over that time.
Yeah, that's 100%. That's exactly what it was just, and it's just like anything, as much as you put in is what you're going to get out. Right. And you hear that all the time, but I promise you, it's very, very true. Right. And, you see a lot of good young guys come in and go and can't adjust, can't adapt. And that's kind of the end of them. Right. You got to adjust and adapt to the situations and the bulls and the travel and all the other side of things, and being out of your comfort zone. Right. I didn't know lots of those guys coming up, and, it's just getting to know them and not getting scared off and get out of your comfort zone. Exactly.
Yeah.
I said, and it's especially, when I started going down south to touring pros and all that sort of stuff. And that was before, Facebook and all this different stuff where you kind of, like nowadays, you kind of know everybody that's
Yeah,
everywhere, right? You
yeah.
see these
Social
young
media helps
guys
you
and
connected to everybody. Yeah.
yeah, you're completely connected. You got your videos out there. When we'd show up to a touring pro in the US with all these guys that we had no idea who they were, that, didn't know who we were, right? And you had to earn it. You had to ride and show every single time that you deserved to be there. And it's scary, man. It was
Yeah,
terrifying.
I
And,
believe it.
it was cool. Like guys like Zane Lambert and Aaron Roy and those guys that were at the highest levels that would take you under their wing and just make you feel comfortable, and Bo Hill, and there was just, the list goes on of guys in your camaraderie with your fellow countrymen and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
end of the day, it's success though. You start
Yeah.
kicking ass, and then once again, that's why I loved bull riding, because nobody can say a damn word.
Yeah.
If you did your job and rode and won, they could be jealous, but
Nothing you
nobody
can
could
do
hold you
about it,
back.
man.
You
Yeah.
control your destiny 100%, where you want to go, what you want to be, and how good you want to do it. You control every aspect of that.
So what was it like qualifying for your first CFR in the bull riding? I know that's a big moment for anybody in their career, and obviously for you with your dad's history and just how involved with rodeo your family is, and what was it going through your mind heading up to Rexall for the first time?
Yeah, it was huge, man. It's the dream come true, right? Like
Yeah, that's
Posy
it.
was there. Posy got to go the year before, and to say I was a little jealous would be an
No
understatement, right?
doubt.
It's
Yeah.
like, damn, right? Because we were best buds, but we definitely competed against each other to try to be the best rookie and best young gun, right? And he definitely took the title on that. But yeah, he made it the first year we went, and I didn't make it that year. And I ended up getting hurt at the end of the year on top of it too, but that's not why I didn't make it. I just flat out didn't make it, and then so I had to get healed up and get myself back together, and a lot of things went on over that next year, and the transition period of changing things up, adjusting, and cutting my hair, realizing that I
Growing
got to
up a little
take things more
bit.
serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Growing up a touch. Yeah. And yeah, man, I remember, winning at a few different places and clinching it around Strathmore time and driving home and just being like, wow,
That's a
yeah,
good
it's cool.
feeling at that time
Yeah.
of year, hey? Like,
Oh, it's huge, right? And us guys, we grew up watching Hell on Hooves, right?
yeah, yeah.
With Devin and those guys. And if there's anything that was so great about rodeo at that time, was probably Hell on Hooves, because it
Oh,
made the
yeah.
CFR look like the Super Bowl. Like it was
Oh, it's
that
amazing.
was right. Like you
Yeah.
made it if you made the CFR, right? So yeah, it was huge, man. It's like, yeah, we're part of that crew, and there at those days, like I said, that crew of guys that I mentioned earlier, they ran the table, right? Gerlitz and those
Yeah.
guys, they
Oh,
were at
yeah.
the finals every year for 10 years, right? Nobody knew really got in. And there was a couple of us, one or two over the years following that, Patton and Miles Pennington, a couple guys like that we were the rookies. But there definitely wasn't 4 or 5 rookies coming in. It was 1 or 2 at the most every year. So yeah, it was cool. Dream come true. Rexall, phenomenal. I
That's sick
100% missed
building.
that
Yeah.
place. Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything was set up so perfect. And yeah, it was a dream come true to do it. Scott, my cousin, and Jesse, my brother, were bullfighting all those years that I was there too. So family affair full on,
Hmm.
and tons of fun. Great memories. And you win like 30 or 40,000 and think you were just the
Just
richest
yeah,
guy in the
the king of
world.
the
And
world. Yeah.
yeah, we'd head to the West Edmonton Mall and get the cool rooms, the whatever they are,
Oh, the
the
theme
sw-
rooms.
the theme rooms.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, just
yeah,
rock
yeah.
and roll.
Oh man,
Thought we'd never see a broke day, man. We were full
that's
on.
it.
Yeah, spend a
That's
few
it.
days or a week there and roll into Saskatoon. The PBR Canada finals were there, and keep on keeping on. Tons of
Oh
fun.
man, so good. So did the veterans give you guys kind of a hard time those first couple of years you got the CFR? Did they do any hazing going on? I guess that's probably a
Yeah,
buzzword
not
nowadays.
really, right? They were
Yeah,
they were. There was definitely guys that got like Posy. He was easy to
he's an
he was
easy
easy to
target.
yeah. So he got
Yeah.
ate up quite a bit, and he was so gullible. They would just tell him stuff, and he'd believe everything that you
Oh,
said. So
totally.
yeah, but no, like all this normal rookie stuff of bringing beer and whatever else that you got to do. But no, everybody was pretty good to me, and I had good relationships with a lot of those guys, and yeah, nobody really stood out. I know that there was some guys that maybe didn't fit the mold in a sense, that they didn't like all that
Yeah,
much. But no, like I say, best plug was me and him hit it off. We were both kind of weirdos
yeah.
and did our own thing on the side, and yeah, it was nothing too major, that's for sure. All in good fun. Some of my best friends to the day.
Man, I'm glad you brought up Helen Hooves. I really wanted to ask you about that because you kind of like you said, we grew up watching it, and then for you and Posy and those boys to be part of it, like talk a bit about like kind of yeah, being part of the show and being able to be on it with your best
Yeah, that's
buds. Like, what
cool.
are some of your favorite moments from the Helen Hooves days?
Well, my favorite moments now are being able to look back at them on YouTube and have those
Yeah,
memories with Ty, for sure. And to hear some of the stuff and all the shit
there's
that we
so much
gave
good shit
Ted.
out there. Oh my
Yeah, all the shit we gave
God.
Ted Stillman. He was still riding at that time, right? That was like when he was becoming the Wi-Fi world champion. He was just traveling with us and video and everything, and then putting it on YouTube and stuff. But yeah, it was just tons of fun memories, right? And it was a huge deal for us because we grew up watching it, and
Hmm.
those
Hmm.
guys that were on it were the cool guys on the circuit. So, that's what you wanted to be. If you didn't want to be the best, you shouldn't be there, right? And they were following the best guys. So, yeah, and the crew was fun.
Yeah, they're good guys.
Ed Sedgwick he was our camera guy. Like, it was a crew of 3, right? It wasn't
Yeah,
like it was like
yeah,
a full production company. There was 3 of them, and they were sweet, man. Pete and Ed, and they were the camera guys, and yeah, they just embedded with us and hung out. They were in the van and just filmed whatever we did and took care of us too, right? They
yeah.
didn't make us look bad, so that was pretty cool
That's
of
good.
them. But
Yeah,
yeah, it was like, we got to do cool stuff and go to Disneyland.
hmm.
Chad won the Calgary Stampede one year, and on stage, because me and Trent were 21, so we were trying to figure out a cool place that we could all go as a group, and we decided that if one of us won, they were taking the whole crew to Disneyland. And of course, Chad wins it, and he said that on the stage at Calgary. and the Disneyland crew, whatever it might be, the media group or whatever it was, got a hold of Calgary to get a hold of Chad that they would comp our trip because he
Oh, no
mentioned it
way.
on the stage. Yeah.
That's so
So
good.
Chad got out of it. I think he still definitely owes us a trip, but he didn't have to pay for nothing. They paid
Yeah,
for
what the
our
hell, dude?
they paid for our flights and our passes and hotel rooms and all that stuff. And then yeah, Ed and the Hell on Hoops crew was following us, so they sent Ed on the trip with us, and
Oh
so he got
man.
to come and we got do all the rides, and they gave us all the passes and shut down a couple rides for the publicity of it to show us doing different stuff in Disneyland for their own media stuff, and yeah, just stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool from those days was tons of fun. And just yeah, man, looking back on them and seeing how young and naive that you were, and how
Yeah.
cool we thought we were, man. We like you
Yeah.
watched those?
You
We
think you're
thought
the
we hung
coolest
the
guy.
moon. Oh
Oh
man,
man,
yeah,
so
just yeah,
good.
thought we were the coolest cats in the world. So yeah, it's fun to look back on.
Well, it's cool. It's cool too because it's like all of those little moments, like stuff you've done like that, and even I was going through your Instagram and I found the video of you when you played goal at the Nashville Predators practice. Like
Yeah.
all those little stuff, man. Just cool how it all ties together and it kind of creates kind of who we are now up at this point. It's fun to be able to have that look back on, but it's just neat to me how that stuff just like morphs us into who we are now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the cool stuff that you get to do. And I think that's that whole growing up stage and whatever else that we talked about earlier. It's hard, right? Be like
Yeah,
in a sense to be a normal kid because I know the stuff that I was doing at 18, right? And it was a lot different than what all my buddies in high school were doing,
100%.
right?
Yeah,
We were rocking and rolling and all over the country and living, man. We lived a full life before 25. That is for sure.
100%.
So that's one aspect, right? Is just like staying in the moment and learning, but your life is a lot different than other people your age. So it's a little bit different
Hmm.
that way. But and then the cool stuff that you get to do once you have success, right? And people
Hmm.
want to be involved and have you a part of their stuff. And that was the coolest part of the PBR was the places that I got to go, the people I got to meet, and the stuff that I got to do. And that one that you brought up is kind of funny because we were in Albuquerque and they'd set it up. It was for the Nashville event. And I was flying from Albuquerque to Nashville for that
Hmm.
PR stunt. And I completely tore all the muscles off in my groin.
Oh
So you
no.
got I think there's two major ones on each side, and I completely tore them. Like it was bad. It took me out for like a year after
Yeah,
that. But long story short was I did it in Albuquerque, but I was like a Canadian kid growing up. It was like there's no way I'm missing this
it's a
to
dream come
go
true.
play
It's like,
goal for the Nashville Predators,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
At
yeah.
Bridgestone. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. Let's go. I'll get through it. So I flew there, and I mean black and blue from my hip
Oh,
bones to my knees, and just didn't say anything to that crew. And yeah, it was an amazing experience. It's Philip Forsberg and Victor Arvidsson,
hmm, hmm.
and they were just gonna take slap shots at me, and the guys that were putting on didn't really know much about hockey, so it was like all they did was just rip slap shots as hard as they could at me, and I just had to like beak them and just take slap shots, and then tell them that now it's their turn to get on a bull. So they were like abusing me, and then I was gonna show them the abuse that we could actually take. But yeah, they dressed me up in all Pekka Rene stuff, and he's even taller than me, so it was huge on
That's
me.
wild to think, eh?
Yeah. Coolest was going into like the room, like the equipment room,
Hmm,
and they had
hmm.
it all set up, and it was all the different guys' gear that people were sending them to try. So it was like Bauer, Reebok, like just
Wow.
like a yeah, it was like Santa's workshop for a Canadian kid. It was
Yeah, no
just
doubt. Yeah.
everywhere you looked was just hundreds of sticks and different gloves and pants and skates, and it's like, oh man. So yeah, they set me up, and then it was like Subban and a bunch of those guys that were on the team at that
Yeah, I
time, and
guess.
I
Yeah.
I just went out and I don't know if I was supposed to, but I was like, yeah, I'm taking full advantage of this. And they were finishing their practice, so I was out skating around with them while they were finishing the
No
practice. And
way.
then yeah, then ripped her in the net. But I couldn't go down, so that was the thing. So they were just
Yeah.
ripping them head high. So if you watch the video, I just stand there and
Yeah.
beat them. But if I went down, I couldn't get up. They'd have to carry me off the ice because I had no groins left.
Get a
But we got
gurney.
through it. It was tons of
Yeah.
fun.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Ty. I know you've talked about him a lot, and you guys got the foundation going and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's something we can't talk enough about. Just the impact that he's had on the sport and what you guys have done with the foundation, and just I want to talk about the impact he had on your career and your life, and how you carry on his legacy today.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's something I do like to talk about, and it's just keeping his legacy alive, and it
Mhm.
was such a huge part of my life, right? We like I've talked in this all the memories that we've had, and we literally got to go from the bottom to the top together. So it
Yeah.
was a ton of fun, and yeah, after he passed, we decided to put the foundation together, and Wacey, you're involved, and Ted and Chad Bestplug, and then obviously Rusty Clooney, Gord Broda, and Ty's family, and just everybody kind of came together. And as you know, man, it was such a gut check time for us in the sport and in the Western lifestyle of just understanding head injuries and depression and mental health and just all the aspects that it took the worst situation ever to come to the forefront to everybody to start trying to maybe deal with and understand a little bit better. And yeah, in reality, we wanted to start the foundation to honor Ty, as well as to just take care of our brothers and sisters in the Western lifestyle that have been neglected for many years. Right, we started with raising money and trying to get sports medicine at as many places as we could possibly get them at, and just have a constant um, group that was with
Yeah.
the riders or the time event people, just have them everywhere so that they knew what each individual athlete was going through, similar to like hockey and stuff, right? You have your trainers that know exactly the injuries that you've had and had to deal with, as well as trying to just get everybody in that health group together to talk about it
Mm-hmm.
across the US and into Canada, right? Because you could go to the PBR and get hurt a bunch and then just not go to the PBR anymore and go rodeo and then kind of
Yeah.
hide around from all the different stuff, right? So that's where it started, and we got the sports medicine team at every single PBR Canada event in the first year, and still supporting that to this day. Moved into rodeo. We got sports medicine. We support a lot of rodeos, and biggest thing is getting into youth and
Mm-hmm.
into high school rodeo, into schools, into clinics, and just spreading the word and giving these guys and gals access to different stuff that they didn't have to start with. So a lot of behind the scenes stuff goes on, and we help a lot of people quietly. And it's been a little bit overwhelming for me in a sense
Mm-hmm.
of trying to taking it on and dealing with it, as and as lots of people know, there's everybody has lots of issues, man. It's a tough world, and the times that we're living in doesn't help it at all either, right? So yeah, it's just a way to be there, a way to support, and an avenue to educate. And
Mm-hmm.
if we can find out more about head injuries and concussions and how to treat them and what to do. That's just all for the better, and that's what we're all about. And it's hard because, as you know, AC, there's different things that you can do, and different things work for different people, but it definitely doesn't work for
For
everybody.
everybody.
And
Yeah.
there is no definitive answer, and there is no cure for um, depression and
Mm-hmm.
CTE and all those other aspects. So we just try to keep it at the forefront, keep people talking, work towards making it better. And I think in the years that it's been, if you look back to 2017, the Western lifestyle has come a long, long ways when it
100%.
comes to
Yeah.
dealing with concussions and mental health. And I'm happy to say that we were a part of that movement and
Mhm.
tried to help with that change as much as possible.
That's one of the amazing things is like the tangible kind of outcome that's had happened with it. And I think even it expands beyond the head injury side of things too. Like you even see guys and girls taking better care of themselves when it comes to any type of injury, or just taking rodeo more seriously. And I think that kind of culture shift that we have has had like made rodeo such a better place for folks, and kind of having those resources. So that's one thing, like hats off to you guys for all the work you've done to kind of get those tangible results rather than just starting a conversation and kind of leaving it as it is.
Yeah, for sure. Just trying to help, right? And just trying to
Yeah.
get the right information in front of them. I'm not the guy that's going to give you the correct information, but we can facilitate that and get you to the right people that that can help with that, right? So there's a lot of work to do, and we're working on that every day. And there's a lot of holes that need to be filled, and working with guys like Brett Gardner and Brandon Tomei with the sports medicine team, and other associations that deal with mental health and with concussion issues. There's a lot of work to do, and we're trying to do it every single day. So forward and moving up, and yeah, the whole goal was to have people not have to go through what Ty's family had to go through, right? So yeah, we have our banquet every year at the end of the year. We do lots of different fundraising events, and our merchandise, you can find that stuff online and stuff too, in support of the foundation. And like I say all the time, every single dollar goes back to the Western lifestyle, and there's nobody in the on the board or within the foundation that takes a dime from it. So everything goes back to the Western lifestyle 100%, whether that's the sports med at different events, or all the stuff that we do outside of the arena.
Yeah, we really appreciate everything you do there, Tanner, and crew. It's pretty awesome stuff. But I want to fast forward now. We'll kind of skip over the kind of the back half of your career, but now I want to get into the bullfighting side of things. I know it seems like it was always inevitable for you to eventually step into the arena with cleats on, but what was that decision like? I know you had a little bit of a brief hiatus after you retired from the riding side, but what kind of led you to that decision of, hey, I'm gonna fight bulls and make a run at this?
Yeah, it was really my plan forever. And if you talk to guys like the crew that I mentioned before, that we were going to the CFR and stuff together, those guys, they all knew it was coming. Best Plug and Brett Monet, Scott Way, those guys, right? I would always joke around with them of how many years I got left before I was going to be coming and fighting bulls with them, right? And I got to a point where there's a lot of different aspects of it, the injuries that I had over my bull riding career. I felt like that groin one that I was bringing up to you. I never did feel the same after that, right? And that growing muscle is pretty important for riding
Yeah.
the bull, right? And I started, every time I'd hit the ground, it started to add up, and I could feel the concussions start to add up, and in reality, my heart wasn't in it and my mind wasn't in it, right? And everybody's like, well, bullfighting's just as dangerous, which 100% it is, but it was something that I wanted to do, and bull riding just had gotten old for me. I'd had some kids, and life had changed a little bit. I lost a couple friends within the game that just kind of soured things for me with Posbon, and then Mason Lowe shortly after that, and yeah, it just was I was looking at it in a new light, and it wasn't the light that I had when I was 20 years old or 15 years old or 25 years old. So it was time to make a change, and I knew what it was going to be. It was just kind of, how do I explain this and how do I go about it the right way? And really, I just jumped into it, went for it full on, and jumped out there. I knew I could do the job. I'd fought bulls my whole life, and every time we were at the practice pen, I was fighting bulls. I'd fought high school rodeos, and
I remember you fighting in Weyburn the one year. It was just like, I think we were like, we might have been like 18 or 17. Like, we were pretty young, but it was a natural thing for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I've always thought that I was just as good at fighting them as I was riding them, and so I was like, yeah, I know I can do it. It's just going to be proving it and going out there and doing it. So yeah, just went at it. I had to go back and get my CCA card, and went back to CCA rodeos, which was a ton of fun. Logan Cadlick was fighting there, and he helped me get some rodeos. And so yeah, we got to do Weyburn and Estevan and Herbert. And yeah, we just man, it was tons of fun, and it was the best thing that I could have done, because you get back there and it was just reps, right? And getting in front of bulls, and getting it figured out, and learning all the ins and outs. And I'm still learning every single day. And I think you talk to Brett Monet, who's been to the finals more than anybody, or Scott Byrne, they were still learning every single day right to the end of their career, right? Same as what I said earlier. You think you got it all figured out, and bam, something jumps up and hits you and changes everything. So yeah, worked my way back up into it, and just proved that I could hang, man. I could do it at the highest level. And fortunate enough, those bull riders noticed that too. And yeah, it's a, I don't know, it's a hard game to be in, and you hear lots of guys that stay away from it or have
Yeah.
retired due to the politics and just sick of dealing with it. And I can 100% understand why, man. It's fucking
Yeah.
cutthroat of a business, and like I say, you find out who your friends are pretty quick, and not many of them are other bullfighters. I found out. Yeah, I was like,
Uh,
I'm not taking your job. If it wasn't me coming in, somebody else would be,
yeah, no
right?
doubt.
Like I
There's always
don't,
going to be somebody, right? Like it's
yeah,
not just you, right?
yeah, and the way I look at it, if someone's coming in that's good, then I love it. Then that's gonna have to make me be better to
That's just
stay
it.
in the
You just got to be
position that
better.
I'm
Yeah.
in, right? Like
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never wanted anything given to me in my life. I want to earn it, and if I didn't earn it, wouldn't feel right being in that position, right? And
Totally.
I felt like that by getting the finals and being voted in and all that different stuff. It's like, all right, now you gotta stop bitching because you're the only one that's talking like that now, right? Like it's
Yeah.
proven that I can do the job, and I, I don't know how many years I've been fighting bulls for now. I think we're kind of past that point now, but there was
Oh, yeah.
a lot of that naysaying at the start that I was
Yeah.
going through, and I wasn't used to it. I was
That's
used to
just
being the
it.
bull
Yeah.
rider that everybody liked and got behind, and they could support me on the world stage and stuff. And then you're like
How
getting
about giving
hate
me
mail,
number
and you're
one?
hearing about all this stuff behind your back, and it's like, no, what?
Come on, boys.
I
Yeah.
don't want this, man. But
Yeah.
it's anything. You look at the clowning world or any aspect of life
Anything.
that's
Yeah.
that's a job, as you know, AC, like there's no matter what you're doing, half the people are going to say you're doing it wrong and half the people are going to say you're doing it right. So you just stick to your guns, follow your own path, and do what you got to do. And that's what I've tried to live by. And the bullfighting side of things, it's a lot of fun for me. I get to
Mhm.
stay close to home. I get to do it with my family. I got 3 kids now, and they get to come with me everywhere and get to grow up in the sport like I did. And there's nothing much better than that. And it's all my friends that I got to rodeo with in the timed event stuff. It's a lot of the same guys, or else it's their kids and they're still around. So that's a ton of fun. And yeah, it's full circle. It's definitely second career. So it's like in that sense where it's more fun than it is like getting this and getting
Yeah.
that, and like
Yeah.
the bull riding was. It's mostly just trying to enjoy every day. And I feel like um all the different shit that you've been through of life, it's kind of fun to have something that is
Oh, yeah.
completely enjoyable, and on top of it you get to take care of all your buddies, right? So
Yeah.
I can
100%.
step out there, and it's dangerous, and you'll see me get mowed down or shot up in the air, but it's 100% worth it to me, right? It's like taking that shot for either one of your buddies that I got to ride with that's a good friend of mine, or one of these young kids that I know exactly how they're feeling and what they're trying to be in the sport, and I can protect them so that they can keep going on to those next levels and follow their dreams and try to
Hmm.
get to the highest level of the sport too. So yeah, it's rewarding in all aspects and tons of fun, and I get to see a lot of people that I didn't get to see for a long time, and then like you say, back to the CFR, back to the PBR Canada finals, and
Hmm.
just tons of fun.
Yeah, it's got to be awesome to like step back into those arenas. Even going back to like Weyburn CCA rodeo, like just all the memories from when we were younger, or even the competing in the Strathmores and Brocas, like these big rodeos you've been able to fight and the CFR. It's got to be awesome to go back and have a meaningful like position and be doing cool stuff. So it's kudos to you, man. It's been cool to kind of watch you start from the bottom again and work your way back up. It probably,
Yeah,
probably wasn't easy for
yeah.
you.
No, it was yeah, it's a lot of fun. And like you say, like the Ponokas and the Calgarys and then the Weyburns and the Herberts, and
Yeah.
all of it. It's tons of fun. It was great. And you can ask most bullfighters, the money when it comes to fighting bulls as a Canadian, you're not making a living off of it. So it's a lot of why you're doing it is the love of the sport. And that's I think exactly um where I'm at right now, is the love of the sport and being able to protect the guys and prove to everybody and myself that I can be the best.
One of those saves I wanted to ask you about was from last fall in Regina at the Maple Leaf Circuit Finals. Can't remember who it was, but got knocked out, and you got lined out by, I can't remember the name of the board now. This just came to my head, so I haven't done the research on it. But I want to talk a bit about that save. Like you literally laid your life on the line. It got bowled over by this big, scary ass C5 bull. And what goes through your mind in a
Yeah.
situation like that? Like, obviously it's protect the cowboy first, but you also got to have some like self preservation there too, as much as you can.
Yeah, for me, that's probably my biggest downfall is the self-preservation. I lost that a long time ago. I think
That's
as a
fair
career
too.
as a bull rider and
Yeah.
the way that I've lived and our friend group lives is you're all in, man. And
Hmm.
especially when it comes to bull riding, like I don't have enemies, but it could be my worst enemy on the back of that bull, and it doesn't matter to me what's going on. The job is the job, and I'll put my life on the line no matter what. If I know
Yeah.
you, if I don't know you, once you step in that arena, you tie your cleats on as tight as you can get them, and you suck your hat down, and somebody's getting it, it's gonna be you. It ain't gonna be
Hmm.
one of those guys, one of those kids, or one of those guys, right? So, yeah, like Regina last year, that one did hurt. It
I
was
couldn't believe when
it
I watched
was
it. Like, holy
oh man,
shit.
yeah, danger. It was Lonnie Phillips,
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
and he got knocked out. And obviously the history that I have of the concussion side of things, but especially when a knockout happens, I'm just like, oh, I'll do whatever, right? Because
Yeah.
in my eyes, and I've seen it happen, like there's nothing worse than a guy completely helpless on his back, belly up, knocked unconscious,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that bull is just still he keeps coming back or steps on him again. Like you have no control over the situation. So that's where I really try to really step the game up when somebody goes to sleep because they literally cannot move. So it's all you. And whether
Hmm.
that means fighting that bull in the middle for a minute or as long as it takes, or just falling down and letting that thing hook the shit out of you in the middle of the arena instead of that guy that's knocked out, I'll do that every single time. And that was the situation there. Bull knocked him out and he landed right at my feet and kind of right where I was standing, and then hit the corner, and I was standing in the middle where Lonnie was knocked out right beside him, and he just beelined for both of us. And he was had me cut off to go the way that I wanted to go, but the way that I wanted to go would have been right back over top of Lonnie Phillips, and that's the opposite of the job.
That's dope.
So I knew exactly what was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to like totally blue 42 me that hard, but I tried to get my back to him enough that it might just hit me in the
Yeah.
butt and shoot me in the air or shoot me out of there, and then kind of keep running me down and at least go to the other end of the arena with him, right? But yeah, that's all that happened. I just knew I had to do something to get him away from Lonnie, who was right beside me, and I just knew I had to put my body on the line and let him take me, and hopefully that bull will be happy with that and move on. And that's exactly what happened. He
Yep.
just ran the length to me. Yeah, hit me pretty good, a little bit
You
more than
are, dude.
I would have liked. But yeah, smoked me down and ran the length to me, and then just boom, right down to the other end. And then the ropers who were there were able to get a rope on that bull and got the situation calmed down, right? But yeah,
Hmm.
you've seen it millions of times, and somebody panics and maybe does the wrong thing, and you don't really realize it, but you're bringing them right back over top of the guy, or you don't want to take that shot, so you try to do it half-assed, and that bull doesn't come after you, and then he takes after that guy that's down on the ground. And for me, that's my worst nightmare. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'll take the shot 10 times out of 10 to make sure that those guys are good.
It's fuck wild, man. So like, I mean, we've talked about your family quite a bit and the influence they've had on your life and whatever. And how great has it been to have like your dad and your brothers and your cousin Scott kind of so relevant in your life, especially in the bullfighting side of things, like having them to lean on this side of your career. It's probably been a big help to kind of bounce stuff off of them or ask advice, like because those guys have been through it too.
Oh, for sure, man. It's you got your own clinic or your own school every time you're
Hmm.
chatting with them, right? And they love the sport as much as I do, right? So they're always watching and checking out videos, and it's my dad either is brings bulls, or else he'll be judging at those events that we go
Hmm.
to, and Scott's on the mic as the TSN broadcaster. So it's a lot of fun that way that we get to hang out on the weekends as well.
Yeah.
and get to stay close. And yeah, those guys know more about. They forgot more about bullfighting than I know. You know,
Mhm.
they've been in it and lived it their whole lives and watched every generation from the get go, from the clowns of of bullfighters. My dad, right, in his era of the guys that were the funny guys, then would
Mhm.
protect the guys after that, right, and just the development of the bullfighter at all these different places, and then going into from one guy to two guys, and then from two guys to three guys at these bull ridings and stuff. And yeah, they're historians. They know everything about it. So and they definitely will not be afraid to tell me to do something different that I've done wrong. It's like, why, you probably didn't need to get run over there. And it's like, I know, and I just panicked. Like they're mostly the other way.
Blacked
They'll give
out,
me a
man.
hard
Leave me
time.
alone.
Yeah, blacked out back there. But no, they're your biggest supporters too. And I
Mhm.
think that's the coolest part about them is there's no bullshit with them if you're doing it, whether it's me or anybody. If you ask their advice, if you're doing something wrong, they're going to tell you. If you're doing something right, they're going to tell you. Either way, right? It's no bullshit, cut and dry. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, and they
Mhm.
definitely know that more than anybody. So, but it's cool for me. I get to, even like just the transition side of things, they were such a huge support.
No
Um,
doubt.
because it was questionable what I was up to. And obviously, like I say, there was a lot of people wondering what I was up to. And just
Yeah.
having the group and my wife and my family and the support group that I had, just yeah, amazing to be able to lean on them and know that they had my back. And
Mhm.
there was never any issues with what I was doing, right? Megan probably thought we were going to be done with this lifestyle, and boom, we're in deeper than
We're
ever.
back.
So yeah, so it's pretty
Yeah.
cool to have that backing and to be able to do it all together is, yeah, just tons of fun.
It's got to be so great. Like you say, like being as a bullfighter, you get to spend your weekends at these rodeos and you don't have to travel around quite as much. So having being able to share this with your family is got to be such a cool thing. Because you had a family young, which is not a lot of people get that opportunity to share their lifestyle with their family. So it's pretty neat you're able to do that at this point.
Yeah, it was super cool and just yeah, exactly like you said, young and dumb and just going with the flow. We had Layla, we got married at 20. I was 21, I think, and Layla at 23-ish, and right in the heat of my bull riding career all across the US, and it didn't slow us down one bit. I think Layla's been to Vegas 6 or 7 times already, and she's 8 years old now. And yeah, we just she just came with us, and it's the first kid, and we learned as we went, and we just all grew together in a sense, right? And Ruby came a few years after that, and now little Redford, he just turned 1 years old, our little boy, and yeah, he's just walking and stuff now. So this summer he's gonna be
He's a
right in
little
the
dude.
right in the thick of it. Yeah, he might be a leash kid, we might be those people because this kid
Just tie him up to the
is all
camper
over.
outside
Yeah,
when he gets to the
yeah,
perf.
yeah. Because he is all in and is
Oh
moving.
man.
So, but no, it's cool. And we had a little bit of a gap there, right? And it's kind of the girls are a little older, so they help a lot with Red, and yeah, they're like second mom's big sisters. So
Perfect.
it's just amazing, as anybody knows that has kids. It's your biggest accomplishment and the coolest thing in your life, and watching them grow and seeing them grow, and that's what I've loved about being able to be in Canada and stay closer to home, as I don't have to miss any of that stuff, which I was missing throughout
Hmm.
my bull riding career, being gone and whatnot, right? So yeah, it's fun. I get to stay in the lifestyle on a different end, and we all get to do it together. And like I say, it's a passion and a love that I really enjoy and love to do.
So sick, man. One something outside of the bullfighting that's coming up this season is really exciting is the Zeke Thurston Invitational Extreme Bronc. So that's a big thing on the calendar, and I think the Bronc match is like the next big thing in rodeo, in my opinion. You're seeing so many more of them pop up, and obviously with the strength of the Canadian platoon of Bronc riders, it's a no brainer. So it took you and the 3D crew are heavily involved with that. Talk a bit about the event and what we can expect in Stettler this summer.
Yeah, man, July 31st. It's a Wednesday. Zeke is one of our clients with 3D. It has been from the get-go, right from the original. I think Zeke's, we had him Rockstar was his first
I
sponsor,
remember that. Yeah.
one of the first athletes in rodeo. We
Very
brought that
cool.
over from the PBR and
Yeah.
into rodeo, and Zeke was with Rockstar. Yeah, Zeke, it's been so much fun just personally to be able to see Zeke's growth and the
Oh man.
championships that he's won, and
Yeah.
you know, and just get to follow along that, and do his sponsorship stuff and all the different cool stuff that comes along with it, and his Calgary championships. And he's the greatest of all time in the saddle bronc riding, if you ask me.
Mhm.
And Stettler, the Egg Society, they built this brand new facility, outdoor facility, all 2W, and it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful spot. And talking with Zeke, he's been wanting to do a bronc riding for a long time. And one thing led to another. We had some different conversations. I started a company, NFP Entertainment, that I produce bull ridings, PBRs. We do Elk Ridge at the Elk Ridge Resort up
Mhm.
by Waskesiu Lake, Humboldt, Saskatchewan. We do one. I do one in Prince Albert as well. And so yeah, we decided, yeah, let's go into the saddle bronc riding thing and then have the Zeke Thurston Invitational. Zeke wanted to do it. I wanted to do it. We got in touch with the Stettler Egg Society. We partnered with them on this endeavor, and it's been fun. It's been phenomenal. And the plans that we have for this event, yeah, it's an extreme broncs, and there's quite a few of those around. This is 4-time world champion style extreme broncs, Zeke Thurston Invitational. So we're gonna do things a little different. We're gonna have a lot of fun with it, and we're gonna have a world class event, no expense spared, to make sure that we put on one of the greatest shows. Cowboy Channel, the PRCA is involved. CPRA has been awesome to deal with. Um, it's been great. And July 31st, tickets are on sale for that, so you can get those now. Definitely one you don't want to miss. There's a little trade show and stuff with it as well. And there's plans for stuff to go on before and after. They're gonna turn it into a full weekend there in Stettler. Start it with that Wednesday, and then roll on to some more events throughout the weekend. So plan to come, plan to stay, and plan to have a great time. Can't wait to kick things off. And then, like you say, the bronc riding thing, I think it's something that we need to push with
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
skill level of bronc riders that we have in Canada
Oh
and the
man.
bucking horses that we have in Canada, right? Or
It's the best.
we run it, right? It's
Yeah.
it's it's amazing to see what the Calgary Stampede and all these guys have done with their breeding programs in
Mhm.
Canada, and the bronc riders that we've produced, whether it's the Hay brothers and Ben Anderson and Juan Chuck and these guys, Leighton Green, right? I'm leaving tons of them out that are world class bronc riders that I can't think of off the top of my head, but it's one of the greatest events to watch in rodeo, and I watch it every single rodeo that I'm
Oh,
at. You
it's the
don't miss the
best, man.
bronc riding; it's phenomenal, whether it's the horsepower or the horse
Mhm.
riders. So, um, it's, and I know there's a lot of pushback on it's not every event in rodeo, but it's just like anything, the timed events have jackpots, and they have their own events, and
Mhm.
bull
Mhm.
riding has their own stuff. And I think anything that grows the Western lifestyle is great for everybody and brings in more fans, sponsor dollars, everything on top of that, and into different communities that makes fans for all the other places as well. So I'm pumped about it. I love these bronc matches.
Hell yeah.
I can't wait to see the guys that we do get, and the alumni that we're gonna bring out. It's gonna be pretty cool, and
Awesome.
some different guys on the mic, and yeah, a lot of surprises. So stay tuned. You can follow it on Facebook and Instagram and all that within the Stettler Egg Society. So pumped up, can't wait.
Awesome, man. Well, I got one more thing here before we wrap up. It's kind of a look ahead for you. So what's next for Tanner Byrne? Like, what are your goals for 2024 and beyond? Like, I'm sure you're a goal setting type guy, and you kind of like have an idea of where you're headed. But what's next for you, man?
Yeah, honestly, it's just just raise these kids as best as I can, be the best father that I can. Bullfighting wise, do the exact same thing that I'm doing right now, and obviously I want to uh, be the best that I can be at that every single day. And it's all voted on by the bull riders, so you don't control the championships or anything like that. The goals are to get the finals every year, as everybody wants to that is doing it. So all I can do is just be the best that I can be every
Mhm.
time I step in the arena. So that's the one thing. Just be prepared and be ready at all times, and no days off. On the bullfighting side of things, our agency side of things is cool, and I it's rewarding to be able to do what I'm doing in that. And same thing, man. We got a whole bunch of these young guys in John Crimber and Casio Diaz and the top bull riders in the world that we're representing. So that just stays busy every single day. There's always something. Always something. There's always moving parts with that. So just stay on top of that. Stay busy on top of that. We got the podcast back kicking, the NFP podcast. You can check that out. We had a couple months off, but that was just hectic time with contracts and team contracts and everything going on. We were on the phone or on Zoom calls every single day for quite some time there. So we're back in rodeo season, so there's a bit of downtime. So we'll get those kicking off. And you can check those out. And man,
where can people find your podcast, dude? Just so for folks who don't already know, where can they find the show?
Yeah, you can find it Spotify, Apple. You can find it wherever you find your podcast. It's the NFP podcast. Myself and Jason Davidson and Scott Byrne. It's more locker room style chat, as you know, Wacey. We'll fling it out there a little bit and have some fun. And that's been cool too. As you know, it's pretty rewarding
it's fun as heck.
Just the guests that you get to have on and the conversations that you get to have with people. And it's a cool way to stay up to date with everything that's going on and makes you stay in the game and know what's going on so that you can at least have some knowledge when you're talking about it. And so, the guests that you've been able to have, and like we've had Cowboy Stroney and Ryan Bingham, Ty Murray, cool, and Mooney, and just, all your buddies that you get to reminisce stories just like we're doing right now. It's a lot of fun.
I love it, man.
Yeah, we do that one. And you can find that wherever you find your podcasts. And ranching, man, and just kicking. There's just a ton of different stuff. I always said that I don't have much of an education, but I do know rodeo and I know this lifestyle. And with anything, you find a way to make things work and enjoy it. And that's the biggest thing is just enjoying your life, right? And doing what makes you happy. And if you can make a living at it, then it's icing on the cake.
Oh man, that's awesome stuff. Well, I hope you can keep your ducks in a row here as we get into the summer season. I know it's gonna be a kind of a sprint to the finish for all of us here, but I really appreciate you taking the time and talk to me, man. It was awesome to catch up, and I'm stoked to hang out this summer down the road. And we'll catch you down the road, dude.
Can't wait, man. Looking forward to following along with this too. I like what you're doing. I've listened to some of them and the guests that you've had within the Canadian rodeo scene. It's badass. So appreciate everything you've done over your career too, Wacey. And me and you have had a lot of fun and a lot of different business stuff that's went on. And we always find our way back to each other. So appreciate you, buddy.
Hey, brother. Thanks, man. And this has been episode number 11 of the Short Round. We'll be back right after this.
Alrighty, folks, that's going to do it for episode 11 of the Short Round. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I just want to remind you to keep it locked to the Pro Rodeo Canada social media pages. We'll have news, results, upcoming rodeos, everything you need to know will be right there on our pages, or you can check out it all on our website at rodeocanada.com. I'm your host, Wacey Anderson, and thanks once again for tuning in, and we'll be back with a new episode in a few weeks. Adios.